Welcome to MCN. We're in the heart of B Road Britain. Now in the UK we've got some amazing stretches of tarmac that wind their way through incredible countryside. And whilst you can have fun on any type of bike on a B road, I reckon the best sort would be a top spec, sporty, middleweight naked, something like these. Now in the red corner we've got Ducati's new Streetfighter V2S. Then there's the Yamaha MT-09 SP and the Triumph Street Triple 765 RS. Now there is a bike missing from the lineup, which is KTM's 990 Duke, but that's missing for obvious reasons. These bikes have got raucous engines with not too much power, sharp chassis, nimble 180 section rear tyres, designer suspension and brakes, loads of electronics and flat bars. They're flexible enough to go touring on, but perhaps not the greatest for pillions. So the big question is, which one is the best? All three of these bikes have soulful engines. There's Triumph's 118 bhp 765cc 3-cylinder lump that also powers the current Moto 2 grid, and the bigger 890cc 117 bhp triple of the recently refreshed Yamaha. Ducati's new 120 bhp 890cc V-twin also powers the new Multistrada and Panigale V2s. They're all festooned with electronic rider aids and lean sensitive traction control and ABS, colour TFT displays and a smattering of fully adjustable Öhlins and Brembos. Cruise control is standard on the Yamaha, an extra on the Ducati, but not available on the Triumph. We've had them all on the scales, fully fueled. The Ducati is the lightest, weighing 186.2 kilos, the Triumph next at 190.4 kilos and the Yamaha 195 kilos. All this loveliness comes at a cost, of course. The Street Triple 765 RS will set you back £11,795 and the MT-09 SP £11,810. And the Streetfighter V2S, well, that's a fruitier £15,990. But it has Öhlins forks as well as a shock. So, character, excitement and handling is what enjoying a B road is all about. But big power, big weight, race rep riding positions definitely isn't. All three of these bikes tick the box when it comes to B road blasting. Take this Triumph for example. The brakes are absolutely superb. The riding position is comfortable, it's aggressive when you want it to be. The engine sounds great. Loads and loads of grunt. But they all go about their business in their own inimitable way. So the Triumph has been one of MCN's favourites for nearly 2 decades now, and it wins a lot of group tests, not just because it's British and MCN's British, but just because it's an absolutely amazing bike. And Triumph have got the chassis so right, the engine so right, the way that it's balanced in corners, the braking power, and this RS is just the best of the breed by a long way. Grunt of the engine is superb, and on a B road where you're not looking at track speeds, you want an engine that's just lovely and tractable with nice fueling, and the Triumph has got it all. Now it's the smallest engine of the bunch, so it doesn't have an amazing amount of low end grunt, so you've got to work the engine a little bit for best results, but that is one of the things that makes it so much fun. The harder you push this bike, the better it feels. This comes on the best tyres, Pirelli Supercorsa SPs, just incredible amounts of grip, especially on a day like this. Perhaps in the middle of the winter that wouldn't be such a case, but wow, what an amazing handling motorcycle. Ride quality is beautiful. Brembos are just so strong. I mean, that is proper race grade power. loads and loads of feel, which the Street Triple didn't have a couple of generations ago when they first went to cornering ABS, but now the feel is impeccable. It's quite a small bike, physically quite small, but it's nice and comfortable for a 6-footer like me. And I suppose the best thing about it is it's just so easy. There's nothing demanding about riding this bike. You just get on it and you can just enjoy it straight away. The clocks look a little bit dated now, but they more than do the job. In terms of electronics, the only electronics really you notice on a ride like this is the up and down quick shifter, which is really smooth. The gearbox is nice and slick. As for the rider aids, well, it's cornering ABS and traction control, but they're never really going to be called into action unless you're really pushing your luck. And the way the bike rolls into corners, it doesn't drop, it just beautifully tracks the corner. There's loads of feel through the chassis coming out the other side. And that 3-cylinder soundtrack, well, it was always amazing, but now it's reminiscent of a pack of angry Moto 2 racers. It's such a complete motorcycle that it's very hard to fault. I can't think of any one thing on this bike right now that I'd want to change. I'd like there to be no speed limits. But as far as the bike goes itself, it's absolutely bang on. It's late spring here in the UK. Everything's turned green. This ribbon of tarmac is just beautiful. I'm riding the Speed Triple 765 RS along this road. It's just a real privilege. Good evening. The long left-hander here, and the Street Triple's probably using 1% of its abilities. The good thing about bikes like these, as opposed to race replicas, is when you're just pootling through villages, it's nice and comfortable. You don't get sore wrists, you don't get sore neck or a bad back. As well as enjoying B roads, nakeds like this make a lot of sense just as normal practical everyday road bikes. And there's not one time you'd ever miss having 200 horsepower or whatever. I think this is just, you know, hovering around the 120 bhp mark is definitely the sweet spot for any bike, let alone a lovely naked like this. So here we are on another 3-cylinder, and there's no question that the Street Triple was the inspiration behind this when Yamaha produced it. I did the launch of the original MT-09 in Croatia back in 2013, and it's evolved over the years and become, well, Yamaha have definitely polished their rough diamond. It never really handled that well. It was always a little bit high on the front, a little bit low on the back. The front suspension wasn't very refined, a little bit stiff, the back was a bit bouncy. But over the years, they've made it into a much better balanced bike. It's much more on its nose now, and it steers properly. The old one used to really understeer. But given that it's got the same kind of layout as the Triumph, it does feel a lot different. It's definitely a different way to skin a cat on these B roads. It feels a lot more supermoto-y. It feels a lot more playful. There's a lot more room. It's a bigger bike. It's actually got adjustable foot pegs, and they're on their low position at the moment, and I've got loads of leg room, which is really nice. The bars are nice and wide, the tank's wide. You actually feel like you're on a bigger bike than you actually are. It's kind of more MT-10ish So it feels a lot more substantial, and of course the engine is bigger as well, so there's a lot more instant grunt. So on a B road where you just want grunt, you don't want loads of top end power, this actually is the more urgent, it's the more involving and the more fun. Brakes on this bike aren't as strong as the Triumphs, there isn't as much bite, but they're definitely a big improvement on MT-09s of old. So here we're coming up to quite a tight left-hander here, which is really bumpy. Quick shift well, the auto flipper's lovely. I feel the bumps a little bit more than the Triumph, but it just grunts off the corner. Beautiful. Yamaha have put these little grills in the top of the tank, kind of speakers for the induction roar. It does sound good. Maybe a little bit more muted than the older bike. This is Euro 5 Plus, so they've got to be quieter with the emissions regulations and the noise regulations. It still makes an absolutely great sound. It rasps beautifully. You could kid yourself that you're on 1,000. I mean, it almost is 1,000, but you know, it's not too far off a super naked urgency off the corners. It just gathers speed so easily. You do not have to work this bike at all. It's so natural, which is definitely, those traits were lacking from the old MT-09. But the MT-09 has always been a firm Yamaha favourite because you get a lot of bike for your money, a lot of performance. Absolutely fantastic. Nice little pop and bang from the exhaust on the overrun. Lovely. So there are 2 3-cylinders. So the big question is what's the new twin cylinder on the block going to be about? Let's have a little go on the Ducati. This would be the first time that Ducati have been on a level pegging with bikes like the Street Triple and the MT-09. This is the new Streetfighter V2 S, and it replaces the old V2, which had the 955cc Testa Stretta engine, which made a lot more power. And really, when that was up against the other middleweights, it was like shooting fish in a barrel. So it's not as immediately easy to get on with the Ducati as the other two. It's definitely a Ducati. If you want a Ducati and you want that V-twin engine, you want that shiny red paintwork, you want that beautiful build quality, this is definitely the bike for you. But you can feel Ducati's racing genes in it, which I think would be fantastic on a track or a very fast A road, but maybe on a B road its superpowers are a little bit wasted. It's not as easy or as enjoyable at these kind of speeds as the others. It feels like it just wants to get going. It feels like it wants to be let off its leash. The chassis is quite stiff. The engine is quite clattery at low revs. It's got an amazing front end feel. The harder you push it, probably more than the other two, the better it feels. The brakes and the braking stability are absolute racetrack grade, and this feels every inch like a naked Panigale. Having said that, it's the least powerful street fighter Ducati have ever made, even less powerful than the old 848 Street Fighter or the original 1098 Street Fighter, the old V2, definitely the V4. But still packs a mean punch. I suppose one of the big questions you'd ask is it worthy of its Street Fighter name? It looks a little bit monsterish. It behaves like a hyper motard when you want to have some fun. But yeah, I'd definitely say it's a Streetfighter. The original Streetfighter was a stripped down superbike or sports bike, and this is every inch that. It's probably got the most aggressive riding position out of all the bikes. You're canted forward the most, the bars are the widest, the foot pegs are the highest, and it definitely just wants to go. It's probably not that happy with you if you just want to ride at low speed. But unlike the other two, this bike does make you feel very special. The very fact you know that the limit of the handling is so high, the way it's built, the way it's finished, the way it sounds, is much more of an occasion. As it should be, being significantly more than the other two. Blimey. Look at them. I think if you really like the idea of a Streetfighter, you're definitely not going to be disappointed. It's not lacking in power or grunt or drama or handling or braking power. It just does everything a Streetfighter's supposed to do. But like all Ducatis, you've kind of got to work for it a little bit more. It doesn't immediately come and put its arms around you like the Triumph and the Yamaha do. It's much more of an acquired riding experience. Coming through these sweeping corners now, it's just unshakable. In recent years, Ducati have made huge strides to make all their bikes more friendly. The Panigale used to be an animal of a thing. It's a very difficult superbike to ride, but thanks to electronics, flexi chassis technology and everything in between, mapping, it's probably one of the easiest superbikes to ride. And this does follow. You know, compared to the old V2, it is easy. It's less aggressive. The engine is much more timid, but it's definitely got some teeth about it.
So, which is Britain's best B-road blaster? Well, they're all incredible, which is why we've gathered all these bikes together in the first place. They're light, they're punchy, they're agile, they make you smile, and I'd quite happily go home with any of these three. But it's very close between the Yamaha and the Triumph. The Ducati isn't quite in their league when it comes to excitement and kind of punchiness. The Ducati is a fantastic bike, and I think because it's got such a race-bred chassis, it will probably be the best on track. It feels better the harder you push it. It's got a lot of character, it's beautiful, but you're paying your money for all that beauty and all that technology. But in terms of putting a massive smile on your face, it's not quite there. It's a little bit prickly, not as smooth as the other two. But when it comes to the best, so that small sliver of B-road heaven, is the Yamaha. I mean, the Triumph is incredible. That's a little bit like the Ducati in that the harder you push it, the more the chassis comes alive. It wants to go fast. Its speed range, its comfortable speed range is probably in excess of B-road speed. Again, you're going to have a lot of fun on track with it. It's very smooth, it's very stable, very agile, sounds amazing, and probably the bike that's the best all-rounder here. But we're talking about that little bit of B-road fun, and the Yamaha really ticks that box. It kind of feels a little bit supermoto-y. It's got the most punch out the corners, it's the most fluid, it's got a really comfortable riding position, it's roomy, the bars I think are fantastic, and it sounds absolutely great. And it looks the part as well in these SP colours that have been quite traditional over the years. With the Olins, it kind of ticks every box for having fun on a B-road on a Sunday morning and beyond. So the winner of this test is the Yamaha. We tip our hat to them. These other two bikes are still great as well, but the MT-09 SP is the most fun, most capable bike for attacking B-road Britain.